Hi everyone, welcome to EVE Talk, your weekly look at the EVE Online markets. As always, I'm your host, delonewolf, and I actually got a few requests for this week's EVE Talk. So I might check out a few different items, ships more specifically, this week, which might be of interest to some people. So let's take a seat, if I can, in the couch. There we go. An incursion warning in there. It's pretty awesome, although an underused feature at the moment, the captain's quarters. I never use it except for recording the EVE talks. I don't know, maybe they should add like this screen somewhere in the hangar view, something like that. I think that would be cool. Just an idea I'm coming up with right now. But we're here for the markets, so let's see if the minerals are still on a downward trend. Well, they're still on the bad data point trend, that's for sure. 549 for titanium, although that's probably... No, actually 543 for the next one right there, and there's a lot of sell orders coming in. So yeah, feels like titanium is still going down. 553, so yeah, there's actually some... Oh, that's system, not station. Maybe I should go and look for the station orders. 557, 556. I think titanium is trying to hold on, but still slowly going down there. Let's have a look at pyrite. 1435 in station for the buyers, and for the sellers 1450. It's a bit strange that there are so many orders in the system, but outside of the station, and then they are below the buy orders. So they're actually pushing the price down, I think, or something like that. If we look at the chart, 20-day moving average is still going down. The 5-day moving average maybe trending just up just a little bit at the tail end, right there. So it might become a bottom, but we've seen that before, once before. If it can't break the 20-day moving average, it'll continue to trend back down. Let's have a look at Mixalon, which is still, although more slowly than pyrite at the moment, trending down. I have noticed this also. These three minerals, it's what you get for Velspar, Plagioclase or Scordites, which are probably the most abundant ores out there. And I have noticed that the amount of ISK I get per full load from my Machina is a lot less than what it was just around the expansion and before that. So I could easily mine more than 6 million with the right asteroids, but now I can sometimes just end up with a load of 5.5 million, something like that, for 35,000 cubic meters. So around 20 minutes of work, something like that. It's still decent, but it's definitely down for high-sec miners. Maybe just a quick look at the other one. Siderine holding on. Noxium, oh, slight uptick right here. So, and I do think you can get Noxium in high-sec if you can go for Umber. So that might actually be the asteroid to go to for now. Let's say Umber, which will yield you some Noxium. Not a lot, but at least some, and could make up for the losses in the other minerals. Megasite, there's been a slight uptrend, but at the tail end here, I'd say it's holding on above 2.2k. Quick look at Isogen, that's holding on as well, just below 150. So nothing dramatic to report in the other minerals, but the very common ones are on downward trends. And now normally I check out the Tech 1 chips, but I've got a couple of requests. First of all, for the Ferox. So someone asked me to take a look at the Ferox. His personal opinion is that it's a good buying opportunity for the Ferox. Let's have a look at the trend right here. It's definitely down a bit. Let's have a look at the 3-month chart. And this one starts just after January. It went up a little bit above 35 million, and now it's down below 35 million. But the person that contacted me expected the Ferox to increase in price. I think they've already been rebalanced, the Feroxes, or am I wrong? No, I think they've already been rebalanced. So I would say most of that impact is already gone and done with. So I'm not sure. I wouldn't expect a sharp rise in here. One thing that could be an influence on not just the Ferox but all battle cruiser prices is that the tier 3s are getting rebalanced, and by rebalanced I do mean nerfed. This could of course mean that the normal battle cruisers, which some of them have gotten a buff, and that definitely includes the Ferox, which has gone up in price because of that, and it's now just it's basically gone back to where it was before its buff. That this could become more popular and thus increase the price that way. So yeah, the nerfs of tier 3 battle cruisers could have a positive influence on the other battle cruiser prices due to increased demand, but I don't see any sharp rises or any reasons to expect the Ferox to shoot up all of a sudden in value. So yeah, that's just my opinion on it. I know at least one person is investing and looking at the Ferox for an investment opportunity. I don't entirely disagree with it. There could be potential in that because, well, it's definitely on a downward trend. So if you can get some Feroxes on the cheap right now, there might be a selling opportunity later on, especially if, like I said, the rebalancing of tier 3 battle cruisers will have an impact on that, but I'm not 100% convinced that this is as safe an investment as I would say Plex are at the moment. Next up are the battleships. Tech 1 battleships, like standard battleships, that's where I was going for, because all of these are being rebalanced by CCP Rise. So the Abaddon, I'm going to go for the 3-month chart, might be better. The Abaddon were way down, although this could be more the mineral impact, and then right here at the tail end maybe, because of the rebalancing. The Apocalypse, there you can clearly see a trend breaker for the 5-day moving average, shooting back up. I'm really bad with names. Look at the Armageddon. That's definitely an impact by CCP Rise's announcement of the changes. So it looks like the Armageddon is going to become very popular. One thing to keep in mind as well is that some of these know something like increased mass. That usually also means increased amount of minerals in order to construct them. And if I'm not mistaken, the Dominics got that treatment with not as big an impact. So it might just be, well, of course the Dominics didn't get a good buff either. At first I don't really like the loss of DPS because of the loss of the 5% increase of large hybrid turret damage. It just loses that, and that does mean that the Dominics overall takes a serious hit in DPS. So for mission runners, that's not so good on the Dominics end. But yeah, there is still a slight impact on the 5-day moving average there, although it's already over. Compare that to what happened to the Armageddon right here. This one's pretty interesting. Yeah, the announcements have already been done, of course. Raven, well, that's actually an interesting chart for some trading, but doesn't look like the Raven moved a lot. Rock, nope. Scorpion, no. Interesting. Dominic's, well, maybe a bit of movement. The Hyperion, whoa, way down on the 5-day moving average. I'd say that's wrong, because in the corrected post by CCP Rise, the Hyperion actually gets a pretty damn good buff and might actually become the best battleship for the Galente. Megatron, yeah, also down a little bit. This is actually interesting. If I had the guts for it, I would say I would look at the Galente battleships, because to me it looks like the market impact has been on the very first changes announced, and a lot of people haven't caught up yet with the changes that CCP Rise has announced in a second wave after all the complaining about the changes for Galente ships. So this is a unique situation. The first announcement of the Galente ships was indeed very bad for all of them, which you would expect a chart like this. But the second announcement was very good for the Hyperion, so I do expect that one to turn around at some point. That's pretty interesting. As we've seen the Caldari, not a lot of movement to be seen here. None of these changes stood out to me either. For the Caldari battleships, Maelstrom seems very stable, Tempest seems decently stable, and the Typhoon went up. That could indeed be because of the announcement, because the Typhoon would actually have a role now, instead of being well, not very good at a lot of things and very underused. The Typhoon becomes, I think, comparable to a Raven, a large missile platform, and thus the increase in price could also be mass increase. I think that could happen to the Typhoon as well. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, this is the impact of the announcements of the battleship rebalancing, definitely visible on the Typhoon and on the Armageddon. And I think there's an opportunity in the Gallente battleships, because the Hyperion one seems completely wrong with the second wave of changes that have been announced to it. It becomes an incredibly good ship. And the Megatron, well, that one does take a bit of a hit, so I'm not 100% sure if there's an opportunity there, but yeah, the Hyperion, definitely. Also, a lot of these ships, all the tier 3 ships and some of the battleships will get increased mass, as I've said, and that also normally means increased mineral requirements to build them. So yeah, if you're a manufacturer like me, I'm definitely gonna try and get all my Taloses done before the patch comes out, before the expansion comes out. That should just mean a very easy profit from manufacturing. Just build them now and wait for after the expansion to sell them. You should be able to make quite a bit of money thanks to these upcoming changes. And well, we know about them already. At least their general trend and increase in mass for a lot of ship is definitely amongst them. So yeah, looking pretty good, and these were basically the requests from people. First one for the Ferox, the other one to have a more of an in-depth look at the ships that are being changed, that have been announced for upcoming changes. So these are the tier 1, Tech 1 battleships for now. Let's quickly move on to Tech 2 stuff. Guardian's still pretty flat, so I'll just have a quick look at the command ships, which I am currently looking for trade opportunities in. Nope, definitely not liking any of these charts. Nighthawk, as you can see, that's a half decent chart here on 3-month average, with some fluctuation of at least 5 up to 10 million on some of the data points. Could be half decent. Vulture, no, I wouldn't go there. A start day, maybe if you want to risk it. EOS, that one has gone up generally, but that's 260 to 240, so that's a pretty big gap right there. Yeah, the EOS still looks like it might be, and then Claymore right here, that's a nice one. 190 to 205 up, and then starting way down again. There might be some money in the Claymore for traders, and the Sleipnir. Yeah, the 5-day moving average on this one is going to looking like it might cross the 20-day moving average again, which is also an opportunity, a sign of opportunity for trading. So yeah, Tech 2 market seems to have slowed down in its fluctuations, but in my opinion, maybe on some of the command ships you can still make some money for that. Let's move on to the Tech 3 then. Melted nano ribbons still trending up on the 20-day moving average, slowed down on the 5-day. Let's have a look at prices in Jeddah Station. 6.15 million, so definitely still up quite substantially from several months ago, but not as much as compared to last week. 5.8 for the buyers. Maybe a quick look at the Loki right here, which is still trending down. So it looks like the Tech 3 ships are not following the melted nano ribbons yet, but yeah, melted nano ribbons are used in a lot of manufacturing processes, and I'm pretty sure that'll have an impact on those. So if you're in the Tech 3 market, yeah, melted nano ribbons have gone up quite substantially in the last 1.5 months, something like that. Pretty interesting. Maybe quick look once again, Gallente fuel blocks, nothing dramatic there. It's even trending down, even lower, some data points below 12,000 ISK for the Gallente fuel blocks. That's pretty damn low. None of the announcements really meant any changes here at the announcement to the bosses. Maybe even less usage, because they are doing some changes that would mean that you need less boss structures on your towers. Perhaps you even need less towers in wormhole space in order to get your job done. And technetium, man, that one's falling off a cliff. Is that the announcement for the industrial rebalancing? That one's falling quite a lot. I'd like to see the 1 year chart as well. Yeah, it's looking for very low prices, historically extremely low prices right here. Data points heading towards 55,000 ISK. I'm suspecting this is the announcement of industrial rebalancing in 0.0, and that some of the 0.0 parties are dumping their stocks, trying to make as much ISK out of it as possible at the moment. Maybe they're expecting war as well, and you might want to have fat wallets for that after the changes. So if this is an indication of increased activity in 0.0 and increased competition in 0.0, I kind of like this. And then finally we'll move on to the Plix, which is right here holding on above 510, a slight uptick in the 5-day moving average as well. Prices in station, sellers 516, not bad actually. I bought mine below 500, 516, and 506 for the buyers. So yeah, it looks like the buying opportunities below 500 million in JITA are gone. 516 is slightly up, although it's not as visible right here on the chart. You can see that right here the 5-day moving average has known a dip very close to 500 million, but it's now trading in the 510, 520 band, and I'm expecting that this will go back up after FanFest at least, when more on the expansion is announced, and then after that again a repeat of this for the winter expansion. Anyways, that's it for this week's EVE Talk, guys. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you all next time.